Welcome back to Sentimental Sensation. Um, as always, I'm your host, George, and this is the podcast where we talk about the importance and significance of music in our lives. Today, for my 10th episode, I have Jayden. Oh my gosh, I've done it again.
What? What did you do?
Trying to say your last name and get it stuffed up like I did on the first episode. Oh, this is embarrassing.
It's all good.
Byrne.
No, it's all good.
Byrne.
Yeah. So just think of what does fire do when you touch it?
Yeah, and then just say that. Cool, yeah. Well, and anyway.
Pretty much.
Good to know. Anyway, yeah, so Jayden was very nice to participate in my first episode, so I thought we'd get him back again, and this time you can actually see what he looks like as the first episode was done audio, so yeah, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me once again. I'm a really big fan of your podcast. I'm not trying to suck up. I've listened to every single episode. But yeah, I love what you do, man. And so I was more than happy to come back and do another episode.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Always looking for, more opportunities to find things to talk about, so which is always good. Speaking of which, today we're going to talk about Simple Plan. As we're both pretty big fans. They're pretty big fans.
We're big hands?
Big hands, yes. We're very big hands.
Absolutely. It's definitely, for me, it's one of those bands that I feel like for me was actually, I kind of started, when there was that whole like gothic mood that everyone went through as teenagers and all that. I felt like I only just got into it when I got older. So I felt like I only started listening to punk rock music, pop punk and all that sort of thing when I got to my early to mid 20s, which is kind of funny. So it was like a little bit late to the party. So like it's kind of funny because even for me, like one of the first songs that I ever heard by Simple Plan, which a lot of people would say was either Addicted or like I'm Just a Kid and all that sort of thing. But for me, funny enough, the first song that I really ever listened to and that I really got into was Untitled by Simple Plan, which how could this happen to me? That one.
I made my mistake.
Like that was And so it's really funny because when I think about looking back of the first ever song I listened to by Simple Plan that really got introduced, it was probably that one for me. But do you have one that you've been introduced? What was your first one?
Yeah, well, I think I don't know if it was in the first episode, but I remember, I did talk about, I think I mentioned Welcome to My Life as being one of my, I guess, kind of the signature tracks of theirs for me, because I think it just kind of, for someone, I guess, who's, young and a teenager growing up in the world and, at times when you feel like the world's always against you, I think that's a great track to kind of sum up how teenagers in general feel about life and that they feel like no one's listening to them, that they're all by themselves. It's like, welcome to my life,
Yeah, they really, as I got older, when I started listening to their albums, I really do think, they really knew how to, out of a lot of bands, I think the reason why they really made a big splash in the music scene was because when they came out and when their first album came out, which is No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls, with a lot of their songs, it really describes what it's like to be just young, being a kid, finding it hard to struggle. And I think that's probably why they really actually made such a splash in the music scene, because everyone was listening to it and they're like, oh my gosh, how many times have I felt alone? How many times have I felt like I was never good enough in this world? And as you said with Welcome to My Life, about the world getting down, pushing you down, and just feeling like no one understands you at the end of the day. And I think it was I can understand why people really related to that, because they were for me, it was between them and even like you have Linkin Park and all these other bands that really made that splash of like, you know, what it's like to be just, you know, growing up, what it's like to go through hard times, what it's like to
Yeah,
be bullied, what it's like to have issues with family and, you know, all this stuff. And I think, yeah, they're absolutely a really incredible band, and I do give them a lot of credit for, you know, how their music impacted so many people, you know, and got it through so many times.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I could definitely. Well, I guess just like yes, say jump in the metaphorical same boat there and say yeah that. I think for just a lot of people I know, including myself, it's just one of those bands that you just kind of almost feels like they're speaking on behalf of all teenagers. They're like, you know, this is how we're feeling, this is what we're going through, you
Yeah.
know, this is what we think feel like our lives are like, you know, kind of thing. And I think that's for me definitely because I feel like Simple Plan was probably one of the first real proper bands I got into. I think for me that was yeah, just like really special to have a metaphorical voice in the world through their music.
Yeah, definitely. Like, do you remember the song "Jump" by Simple Plan?
Oh yeah, do. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to jump, jump. Like that one was just like when you actually listen to it, it's such a brutal song, but it's like it's just for me that was just such a very significant song where it just explains what it's like to be at like the edge of your limit and just feeling like you can just take one step and just jump
yeah,
and you know the lyrics don't want to think about tomorrow, jump, you know, and it's like it just has such a very significance of like what it's like to be just at the very edge of just your limit and feeling like no one understands. You just want to, yeah, and it's such like a very full on song when you actually think about it. When you read the words, like it's so weird because it's got such an upbeat feel, but then you read the words and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is actually quite dark
yeah,
for you know, it's a really dark song when you actually take in the lyrics and listen to what Pierre, the main singer, is saying in the song, and you just go, "Geez, like this is about a song about like being at that last straw where you just feel like if something else happens, you're just gonna, yeah."
flip or
And
whatever.
so it is and it's like, like I'll ask you this, man. Do you think that one thing that I know that a lot of people I've talked to about Simple Plan is that they have definitely progressed from the first to the last
Oh,
album.
for
So you've got like, you know,
sure,
No Balls, and then the last one they released was Taking One for the Team. Do you think their music has changed a bit, like when it comes to
yeah.
style
I
and all
think
that?
it's definitely. I feel like it's definitely evolved. Yeah, because I feel like um, no pads, no balls, no helmets. It was a very like you know a bunch of young guys mucking around, having a bit of fun. You know, with like there's some really great tracks in that one. Like I'm a Kid, for example, is really good. But I think
Mm.
as they progress, they've just I guess matured in a kind of cool way where it's become
Mm.
more kind of I don't know like vibrant. Like the music's a bit more like they've still got their, you know,
Mm.
kind of, they've still got their odd sad songs, which obviously, you know, are still really cool. And I think probably one of the things that, that makes Simple Plan who they are, you know, a lot of their kind of sad songs, like, yeah. But
Mm.
I think, yeah, just for me, as they've grown and released more albums, I found they've become a lot more, it feels like high energy tracks, which I think I really like
Mm.
which you probably don't. I mean, I guess you kind of still get with some of the older stuff, and maybe even you know when they did live, because I did go to see the 50th anniversary album. I think it was of No Pads, No
Yeah.
Balls, No Helmets, and obviously they were always great live. Well, I've only ever seen them once, but
Oh.
from what I've gathered, they always seem to be really great live and bring a lot of energy to their tracks. But I think when you listen to albums like Get Your Heart On and their newest one, something, was it something for the team?
Taking one for the
taking
team.
one for the team. That's the one. Like, you listen to those tracks and you just feel that energy that they've kind of put into that song with the like all the riffs and the drumming and the da-da-da-da, you know. It's very like uplifting, I feel. It just really adds to the, I don't know, like creative nature of the band, I guess. Like, it just brings a whole new kind of energy to it, which I think is really cool. So yeah. What about yourself?
I definitely agree with you. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there that the music has definitely progressed, like has changed over time. But I think the one thing that I have to, like, as you said, it's really good that bands mature over time. Like, you know, it's something that happens over time. Or, you know, bands will mature with their music style. You know, they will, they get older.
Yeah.
And, you know, all that sort of thing. And I definitely think, yeah, when it comes to their music style, it definitely has progressed and changed over time. But I think the one thing for me, when I was like, because as I said to you before, I was like, in the last day, I was listening to all their albums to, you know, obviously refresh my mind because, you know, I hadn't listened. Simple, like, I haven't listened to their albums for a little bit, but, you know, as I was listening to them, I started to realize, going, geez, why haven't I listened to them for a while? I'm like, I love them so much. It's just, songs are so good. The one thing that I have to say is that their lyrics, when it comes to their lyrics haven't changed. Like, you know, you have like such personal songs, like, you know, you've got from their old stuff like I'm Just a Kid, Perfect, and all that sort of thing. And then you look at Taking One for the Team, and they write songs like Perfectly Perfect, Problem Child, all these other. So they still talk about trying to fit in a world that we're in. So I feel like their messages in their songs haven't changed.
For
So I
sure.
feel like in a way they have still been progressing when it comes to music, but they're still Simple Plan because their messages are still coming through their music. So I think yeah. And then even like with Get Your Heart On, I always find it weird saying that title because I need to stop myself going, please don't say Get Your Heart On, it's Get Your Heart On. You know?
Oh yeah,
it's always funny.
Fair,
And
cool.
but then, you know, like you have in that one you have songs like Gone Too Soon, This Song Saved My Life, Last One Standing, and then there was Astronaut, you know, like there was all these other very powerful ballad songs. Yeah. And but then you still have their like upbeat songs, like, you know, you have My Alien from their old songs, like you have Loser of the Year. You have My Hands Off You, and, you know, so I feel like, as I said, I think their lyrics, when it comes to what they write about, I think their lyrics are still Simple Plan. When I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, that is Simple Plan lyrics.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
when it comes to they have progressed, and as you said, I think it's a sign of maturity. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely very special and unique to be able to progress over a period of time and still keep your signature sound, because I think it's so easy for bands to kind of, I guess, lose their sound or kind of, I don't know, distort their sound in some way, and you just kind of think, oh, that's not really the same as this album, and, you know, you've kind of gone to this new sound. And I mean, I know it's great to like experiment and try new things out, but to be able to progress in such a way where you still have that signature element that you're just like, oh yeah, that's Simple Plan, for instance. You're like, no matter what album they release, there's always that hint of, you know, Simple Plan-esqueness going on in there. So I think,
exactly,
top credit to them for sticking to that and keeping that up.
And I think all respects as well, because, you know, like, I know that there have been some bands, I'm not going to name them because I don't want to cause any like fan hate and all that, but I always find it interesting when there are bands with singers who, like, they have an incredible voice, but then suddenly over time they decide to do use a synthesizer to,
Oh yeah, to kind
you
of
know, for their
enhance their sound.
yeah, and I just think to myself, going, why do why'd you do that? And there's actually been bands for me that have done that, and I'm like, you've got an incredible voice as it is. Like, why do you, what are you doing like
Yeah.
to do that? That's the one thing that I have to give credit to Simple Plan, that Pierre throughout the whole time didn't use, like, if he did use one, it was like
Very
probably just
mild.
gradually,
Yeah.
like yeah, but most of the time he just used his voice,
Yeah, exactly.
because he's got an amazing voice.
Oh,
Like,
definitely, yeah.
he's yeah, he's got an incredible voice, and he doesn't need it. And for me, that's one of the things that I've realized is that bands from, like, over time sometimes end up using a synthesizer,
Yeah.
and they end up, and you just kind of look and go, why are you doing that? It's like
Yeah.
your voice was already incredible as it is,
Yeah.
and you're just like making it sound like a robot or something.
I know, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's like
But
an
that's all.
element. Sorry, I interrupted you. An element of like
That's
wanting
okay.
to appeal to a wider audience, or especially because I feel like modern music these days becoming a lot more like electronica. So whether they kind of feel they need
Yeah.
to kind of bring that into the fold in order to be still valid as a band to appeal, or maybe just to appeal to a new generation. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm. It seems to be a very common thing, like when it's like people are now starting to use synthesizers and all that sort of thing. But the one thing that I just think about that, and obviously, not to go on a tangent about that, but I just think it's because it makes me feel like that you just don't have to be a singer to
Yeah,
release the music.
I
Have a good
know. It
voice. Like, you think
does.
about 20, 30 years ago when musicians would walk into the studio, their voice was
Their tool.
their
Yeah.
weapon.
Yeah, or their weapon.
Yeah, their
Weapon's
weapon
probably a
of choice. Tool.
better choice of
And
word.
you know, in a kind way, like, if you didn't have a good voice, like, people in recording studios would be like, maybe come back, practice a bit more,
Yeah.
get vocal lessons, and then you can talk again. But now it's like anyone can literally
Rock
sing
up.
because they
Yeah.
use a synthesizer, and they're
Yeah.
just like, okay. So that's the one thing that I just, I've realized,
Yeah.
and I think you're right with saying that. I think they're just starting to do that because it's become so common. But I think that's the one thing I'm really happy with Simple Plan, is that they don't end up doing that because they just want to create music. And
Yeah. They're
but
not.
I have to say,
Oh, I was just gonna say they're not like interested in appealing to the masses. They're for their, from what it seems, their
yeah,
their core fan base. But yeah.
yeah, definitely. And it's like, I have to admit, I do miss hearing music by them. Like, because when I was looking at their album list, like, they haven't released anything in like 5 years.
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah.
their last album was two.
Wow, that seems crazy because
And
I
so,
remember getting that for my birthday one year. It's like crazy to think it's been that
what,
long.
taking one for the team?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, like, it's crazy to think that, like, and like they've done 5 albums already. So they've I think the first one was 2001, 2002, I think.
Sounds about right.
I've got the document here. Yep, 2002.
Yeah.
No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls was their first
Mm.
album, and but yeah, and then they obviously had Still Not Getting Any,
Mm.
which is obviously the one with Welcome to My Life, Untitled, and Jump. And then you've got, after that one, you've just got their self-titled album, which is just Simple Plan, which is the album
Yeah.
that has, like, When I'm Gone, Your Love Is a Lie, and then you have obviously Get Your Heart On, which is Jet Lag, Astronaut, and all that, and then it's Taking One for the Team.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm really curious to see what they've got next. I
Oh,
really
yeah,
want to
for
see what
sure. It'll
they
definitely
have
be
coming up
interesting.
next, because yeah, and you
It's
said
funny
that,
when
like,
you
I
were
was gonna.
saying about the. Oh, no, jump. Go
Oh, go for
ahead.
it. Go for it. No, it's all good. I think I interrupted you, so you go for it.
Oh, okay. I'll just. I was just gonna say, I feel like the title "Jump" and then you got like Boom, and I almost feel like Jump's kind of like the predecessor to Boom because you got that kind of do, and then Boom kind of just takes the, takes Jump and then just adds the kind of, extra glamour to it, just makes it like even a more exceptional track, I feel. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Boom is a really great track. Actually, from Taking One for the Team, that is actually that one as well as Opinion Overload. I do feel like Opinion Overload has a bit of old school Simple Plan essence, like from their old school punk rock days where they were doing those type of songs. But yeah, like I think but yeah, Boom is a really good song. It's a very upbeat one as well to listen to.
Definitely, yeah.
And you can just sing along to it. It's like it's like one of those type of ones, which is really cool. And but yeah, no, I think I was gonna say like you said that you went to see him live. What year did you go and see him live?
Good question. I should have worn my shirt today as well. I didn't think about that.
Unfortunately, I don't have one actually.
Because I thought, like it's my first concert, I gotta, buy some merchandise to commemorate this occasion. So I got their one of their shirts, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I was trying to think when the anniversary was, because if it was 92, that would have been
2002. That would have been 2017.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
2017.
Jeez. Yeah. That's a while ago. I mean, it did. Yeah. It did feel like it was a little while ago, but yeah. Yeah. It was, I mean, like I said, I've never been to a concert before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect or kind of what to expect from Simple Plan, I guess. But definitely was. I definitely remember really enjoying myself, and it was kind of weird, I think, seeing. Well, I remember going and kind of like, every now and then, I don't know if they were swearing in the songs or just in general. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I had to kind of like step back a second, I think, like, because I know Simple Plan generally don't like swear in their music, but it's kind of funny just kind of seeing this kind of like adult version of Simple Plan. And I kind of had to kind of like step back from my little kind of shallow grave of like, oh, no decent pop star swears on stage kind of thing. They're just like, oh wow, okay. But like I didn't mind it. It was just kind of funny because I wasn't kind of expecting to that to happen because they seem just like a very polite bunch of blokes. But I guess
they ruin it. It's like, nope, we are not.
This is a
like I know that in like I know in the song Jump, like how they say in the song Forget Tomorrow, like I know that in the live version, and I actually saw that on a live video, they say F tomorrow. In the live version, they go F tomorrow, I just want, and they say that. So I know that they do play a bit like, because I think they did perform that song as well, because I went to see him in 2017 as well, I'm pretty sure, late 2017, and that was in the Netherlands when I was
time. Yeah. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
No,
because you were in Australia at that point.
It was around the time. I was living in Europe, and my ex-partner is a huge fan of Simple Plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we went to see the 15th anniversary, and we saw them in the Netherlands, which was really cool. And but and so we saw, and that was really cool to see. I really loved how they actually, they didn't only just perform like the full album, like they obviously performed the full album live, but then they went off and had a break, and then they came back on and performed other greatest hit tracks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they actually came back on and performed songs like Jet Lag and all these other ones like that. Welcome to My Life and that.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, I think we basically just got like the full album from what I remember. I don't think we got any additional tracks
really?
that I can remember. But it's really funny as well because there was this there were these two lads who probably were like in their mid-20s, who obviously grown up with Simple Plan. Their dad was there, which I thought was kind of funny because I presumably the dad had kind of got into the band through his sons or whatever. And it was just kind of funny to see, the dad there with his two sons, kind of, we're all sort of rocking out because it was like a sort of open area, so you could all, jump around. Just kind of interested to see all the different sort of people dynamics that were there. Because I guess, obviously Simple Plan has such a broad range of ages that it appeals to, but it's just a kind of funny little thing, just seeing the dad there with his two sons there. Kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I've actually realized with Simple Plan, that they actually speak to a large range of audience, like ages and all that. So I think that's one thing I have realized, that I've known people in their like 40s and 50s who have known Simple Plan, even if they don't know Empire, but they know their music and they do like it. So I think it's really to speak to people of not just like our age group, but then they've been able to speak to people on a later age groups and all that sort of thing. And so I think that's pretty cool that they've been able to spread out in there.
I mean, I guess the fact that they've been going since the 2000s and they're still going strong today kind of speaks something there.
Well, that's it. That's it. And I was going to say, should we have a talk about each album? Did you want to talk about each album and our thoughts on it?
I'm down for that. So I guess we might as well start off from square one.
Yeah, sure. So I've got the track names here on my screen.
Yeah, same. I got it just got on my phone.
Yeah, so I guess the first one is 2002, which is No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. So the very first album that they released. And so reading down the track list, I'll grab the track list. So we've got, so the track list goes, I'd do anything, the worst day ever. You mean nothing. You don't mean anything. I'm just a kid. When I'm with you, meet you there. Addicted. My alien. God must hate me. I won't be there. One day. Perfect. And One by One and Grow Up. So that was their first release. So what did you think of that album for their first release? As a first release, what did you think of that as an album?
I was just looking through the track list. Yeah, it's quite a decent amount of tracks there. And the one I've got's for
a first album, it was good.
Yeah, the one I've got as well is the anniversary album, so they got a few additional tracks on here as well, like Happy Together, which is a cover of the Turtles song. And they've also got the Vacation song. I don't know if you know that one. I'm sure that wasn't released on an album, but I think it was in a movie I think it's called, I can't remember the name, but I think it had Mary Kate and Ashley, those two celebrity twins in. I think that was like a specific song for that album, so which they've added to the 25th or the 50th anniversary, but obviously wasn't on the original track. But I guess getting back to the actual music that is on the album. I think one of the things for me when I first came across Simple Plan was thanks to Scooby-Doo and the first live action movie, which had I can't remember which track it was now. I might have to double check that.
Grow Up, wasn't it?
Grow Up, that's right, yeah. So I guess for me, when I came across Simple Plan, that was kind of almost like my gateway to coming across them. And then I can't remember when I would have finally got around to actually listening to the whole album, but I do remember, songs like Grow Up, I'd Do Anything, which I think was also featured in because they also did the theme tune for the What's New Scooby-Doo TV show. And I think they had one of there's even an episode in that series where they all appear in the episode, which is kind of cool. And I think I'd Do Anything, I'm pretty sure was featured in that episode with, like, you know, they usually have like music with the chase scene where they're trying to chase the monster kind of thing. So I think like tracks like those and like I guess Addicted as well are probably I'm Just a Kid, and yeah, I think those are kind of the main ones that stood out to me when I first heard them, because I'm pretty sure like a lot of people, I just kind of heard that a lot of their greatest hits before I ended up actually buying the albums and like, you know, listening to the album, buying the album, listening to the albums like in full like full, yeah, spitballing a bit, but for like full listening to the album properly, I guess. But yeah, yeah, and I think like there's a few kind of funny like little tracks in there as well, like you mentioned before, My Alien, which talks about like, you know, having an alien girlfriend with like, what is it, 4 legs to wrap around me. She's not your typical girlfriend, she's my alien. Which is kind of funny.
That song did make me laugh when I first heard it.
But yeah, and then like I just think it's just a really great kind of first album in general. I don't think that, like, I know with some albums, you know, I might have a habit of listening to specific tracks, but I feel like like an album like this one, I could just listen to the whole track list, and not kind of like be like, oh, I'm not really interested in that song, I'll skip that one kind of thing. Like, they're all really well done and have some really cool meanings, like even like God Must Hate Me or The Worst Day Ever. You know, it's got a very kind of that tone of like, oh, you know, I'm a kid, life sucks, why does the world hate me? Which was kind of, I guess, which they're pretty well known for, but I guess was almost kind of like predecessor to like their next album, which has like, you know, Welcome to My Life and all that. So yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Like sorry,
I'll just get a thumbs up from me.
Okay. Like, I definitely agree with you. For a first album, I was really impressed. Like, sometimes, I don't know if you have this with some bands, like, when you listen to their very first album, they're just like, it's a starting point. So you're like, okay, it's all right, but I wouldn't say it's not my favorite.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, but for them, I actually was really impressed with, like, when I first listened to the album, I was like, geez, this is actually, for a first album, it is really strong. It's got really great tracks, and it's really interesting. Like, don't quote me on this, anyone watching and all that sort of thing, but I'm pretty sure, like, song Addicted, that was kind of, because in the US, you're not allowed to swear on radio shows. So obviously, for them to kind of bypass that, they created the song Addicted, which, you know, and they kind of play on that, I'm addicted to you. You know, so it's kind of that funny, like, they're kind of swearing, but they're kind of not, because they're saying the first part of the song, the word, and then they go addicted.
Yeah, it's very crafty.
So they kind of crafted in a way so that they are swearing, but they're not. And it's like, because during that time, you're not allowed to swear on radio.
Yeah.
So it was kind of their way of being crafty and going, oh, let's, you know, and as I said, don't quote me on this, but I feel like I read that somewhere going, and it's like their way of going, oh, let's try and sneak a swear word without meaning to.
Yeah,
you know.
It's pretty clever if you could pull
that. But no, I remember. Yeah, exactly. And I remember when I went to see the tour, when they performed the song Perfect, which is such a powerful song, like, oh, that really plucked a few heartstrings. I remember when I saw that song live and I saw Pierre perform that live, I remember tears were streaming down my face. I was just like, oh man, that was such a powerful, it was just such a powerful song. And it's such a good symbolism of a song of feeling like you're just never going to be perfect to someone. Like, you is expecting perfection of you, but you can't get there because it's impossible. Like, for you to be perfect is impossible. But for some reason, the person who you're trying to impress is just always expecting perfection.
Yeah.
And so like the song is just a reminder saying like, you know, I'm sorry, I can't be perfect for you, you know. I just
For
feel like
sure.
every time I do something, I'm not good enough. And, you know, for me that just, yeah, it was just, that really did touch me, because for me that's like something I've had to deal with, dealing with sometimes people who sometimes expect perfection of me, you know, family or friends and all that, and I'm unable to achieve that because, you know, at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. And so for me, that song really was just such a powerful moment. And but yeah, no, I definitely, in a rating system, like I'll ask you this, like what would you rate it? Like for me, I would probably rate that album
Yeah,
I'd
for
probably say
sure.
7.5. Probably 7.5. I would rate that album
Ooh.
as out of 10.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I'd probably go for like 8. I reckon, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
definitely like up there for me.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like as an album, as I said, you know, I definitely would. It's not my favorite album, like, and we'll probably end up finding out what's each of our favorite albums
As we
are
progress, yeah.
eventually. Yeah, and should we go into the next one?
Can do, yeah. I was just reading a bit about the album. It's and it was saying how it's like what does it say? Yeah, pop punk record that revolves around being an outcast, which I guess kind of sums up the whole album in that sense, drawing comparisons from Blink 182, Good Charlotte, and
Oh,
Newfound Glory, which I suppose we're all
hmm.
probably pretty in their element, I guess, by that stage. Because I think I know that's probably, I don't know if that was inspiration for them, but definitely feel it's in the kind of same field, I guess,
Hmm.
in that sense. But
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the punk rock bands took inspiration from each other. You can definitely tell.
yeah,
But then they also worked a lot together. You know, they did also collaborate a
yeah,
lot together. You see that as well in a lot of the punk rock
yeah.
community.
It's kind of funny because it also said it received mixed reactions from music critics, with some commenting on the lack of originality and others praising the production.
Really,
Apparently,
really, that's interesting.
yeah.
Jeez, I think that album is quite original. Like,
I suppose it's
yes,
like
like I don't.
anything, you're always going to have two sides on the fence. You know, people that absolutely adore it, and people are just
Right.
like, "What is it?"
Hmm, definitely. Nah, that's very true. But yeah, I think yeah, that's so interesting to hear that there was some people who didn't think there was no originality in it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And it's also said they would promote it. They promoted it with supporting slots with Sugar Ray, Blink 182, Green Day, and short stints on Warped Tour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, between supporting slots for Good Charlotte and the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, I should say. Which I don't know if you know that song.
Jeez.
The impression that I get, that's the song of theirs. That's the impression
Hmm.
that I get. Do, 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 do.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And yeah, it says I'd Do Anything was released as single, preceding by the single release of Addicted. The band supported Avril Lavigne before appearing on Warped Tour again. Fourth and final single, Perfect, was followed by radio festivals and co-headlining tour with MXPX in early 2004.
Wow, had a busy time
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like when you're new to
for a
the
first album.
field,
Very
yeah,
busy.
they definitely
Jeez, that's
definitely made their mark, I'm sure, on society with that. But
oh gosh. But no, that's amazing. And you know, well, as we're about to find out, like their next album, geez, that made probably as big as the next impact. Like, you know, the next album was for viewers, for people who are listening, are still not getting any, which was what year was that? That was 2004.
4, Yeah.
2004 was that.
Yeah.
And so for the tracks, we've got Shut Up, Welcome to My Life, Perfect World, Thank You, Me Against the World, Crazy, Jump, Every Time, Promise, One, and Untitled. Which, for a second album, like, and this is gonna, oh gosh, people are probably, Simple Plan listeners are probably not gonna like me for this, but when it comes to all their albums, and oh gosh, it's actually, when I think about it, it's probably my least favorite album out of all of them.
Ooh.
Like, I think it's because I know it's a controversial thing, but I think it's because a lot of the other albums, like, for example, it's not my go-to album. Like, the other albums are actually more the ones that I would rather listen to.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's, and just before anyone says anything, it's not because I'm saying it's a bad album. It is a good album. But like, when I go to listen to Simple Plan, I don't think of listening to that album as a starting point. And, you know, like, but I do realize that with a lot of their a lot of these songs in this album, there was a lot of songs about, like, not taking crap from anyone, because, you know, you've got, like, you know, Shut Up, you've got Jump, you've got Welcome to My Life, you've got Thank You, which the whole song is about, you know, thank you for, you know, treating me like crap and pushing me down, because I'm going to get back up, you know. And so it's, yeah, exactly, you know, so it's got a lot of stuff that pretty much talks about, like, what it feels like to be just pushed into the ground by everyone around you. And I feel like this album really does captivate what it's like to just be pushed around. And I think it's such it really, has a strong meanings behind a lot of their stuff that they do.
Yeah, definitely.
And but yeah, for me, honestly, like, as I said, it's probably a controversial thing. I probably would rate the album a 6.5 out of 10.
I mean,
as I said, I'm sorry to everyone.
6 is pretty good.
Huh?
I said 6 is pretty good.
Yeah, like, as I said,
it's not like you're giving it a 4 out of 10 or something.
Oh, no.
Then you might get complaints.
No. Oh gosh, yeah, I probably would get a lot of complaints if I rated it like a 4 or something. But no, as I said, at the end of the day, for me, it's a good album. But the reason why I'm rating it low is because it's not an album that I consistently listen to as a Simple Plan fan.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on the album?
Yeah, I'd probably say it's probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite. But, probably my second favourite, I think. But yeah, because I think Still Not Getting Any was probably from memory, was the first Simple Plan album I got. So I guess in that retrospect, it has a lot of sentimental meaning, but also just the tracks in general, I feel, are very, just like probably some of them. Like, well, I don't want to say better, but yeah, I really like pretty much all the songs on there I really liked. And like I said, obviously, Welcome to My Life was a very significant song to me. Shut Up, pretty good one. Perfect World, Crazy, Jump, Every Time, One, Untitled, which is kind of funny with the Untitled one, because I'm surprised they didn't call that How Could This Happen to Me, because I kind of feel like that sounds like the name of the song, but for some reason they just went with Untitled. And even on because I'm on Google YouTube Music at the moment, and it's got Untitled, and in brackets it says How Could This Happen to Me, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting as well when I first read that, going on, like, when I saw the song Untitled and then I started listening to it, and I'm like, hang on, that's How Could This Happen to Me, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, but apparently the official song is called Untitled. And it's really interesting, as the first song that I listened to, and that's probably why it's really surprising that it's still my least favorite album, even though the first Simple Plan song I listened to was Untitled, which is really interesting. But yeah, no, I do have to admit as well that I found it quite funny that the song was called Untitled and it wasn't called How Could This Happen to Me. Because like, when I was trying to look it up, I couldn't find it because I was looking up How Could This Happen to Me.
That said it wasn't the title. Yeah, that's kind of a bit of a...
Yeah, and then when I finally found the song Untitled, I'm like, I don't remember this song. And then I played it, I'm like, that's the song title. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like I just what it's called. But yeah, I'm wondering. I don't actually know why they did call it that, but I'm wondering if there's actually a reason why they went with the song title Untitled.
It would be interesting
But
to
yeah,
know, yeah. Because,
but so what would?
yeah, because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a few bands out there that have like songs like that where they call it like Untitled or something along those lines,
Hmm.
Blink 182 song 2 comes to mind because like that seems kind of like a funny name for a song, but I suppose there isn't really a lot of lyrics in that song apart from woohoo. And I mean, they do have a few lyrics going through the song every now and then, but it's kind of funny that they just like, oh, well, it was presumably the second song on their track at the time, so let's just call it
Two.
song 2, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, in regards to yeah, rating, I'd probably give it. Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe 9 or a 10. Maybe 9. I don't know.
Ooh,
Probably 9.
wow. So we're definitely on different different ratings when it comes to
Yeah,
that.
because that's probably definitely one of
Hey,
my
but
favorites of theirs. So yeah.
yeah, no, that's fair enough, man. Like as you said, it's one of your favorite albums, and yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. And shall we um
I was just
shall we go to the third?
can do. I was just going to say as well. Apparently, still not getting any debuted number 3 on the US Billboard charts 200 and spawned
Wow.
4 singles, which were "Welcome to My Life," "Shut Up," "Untitled," and
Yeah.
"Crazy." And
Oh,
it was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, denoting sales of over 1 million copies.
whoa. That's impressive.
And it also says the
Hmm.
album garnered a positive reception, but critics were unsure of the band's musicianship and lyricism in their given genre.
Yeah, so they were unsure about their lyrics and all that, or
Seems like it, yeah, which I guess might be why certain people don't like it that much. No jokes. All good.
oh, good. But yeah, but as I said, I definitely think for that album they did sing about a lot of full-on topics,
Oh,
like
true,
there's a lot of songs that really might trigger people,
yeah.
because you've got
Fair
like
enough.
songs like you've got Shut Up, you've got Welcome to My Life, and
Yeah,
so
true. It is
there's
very
probably a lot
full
of
on,
songs. So I can understand why it might have caused a bit of controversy because a lot of people might have like listened to it going, "Oh gosh, this is really hitting
yeah,
very close to home for me," or something like that.
for sure,
But
yeah.
then sometimes, in some cases, some people might be hearing
Respond
it going,
more to that,
"Wow,
yeah.
this is actually," yeah, they might be going like, "Oh my gosh, like that this is actually this speaks to me,"
Yeah,
because I'm literally going through this myself right now.
true. Yeah, that potentially might have been why one of the reasons why it stuck out to me so much because obviously I think around that time I don't know when I properly started getting into music, but I know like when I first came to Australia and I was kind of struggling a bit to make friends and stuff that I think that album especially and that song "Welcome to My Life" was kind of like one of those tracks that just really hit home for me, and yeah, so maybe my life experiences of the time has definitely helped shape my love of that album.
Yeah. So it really spoke to you during that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the few artists I was listening to at the time. So yeah, definitely.
No, that's awesome, man. It seems like that album did have a really good impact, like a positive impact on you during that time.
For sure, yeah. And I think that's the album as well where I think it's in like the little leaflet, they all dressed up as old guys. Like they had all the prosthetics on and
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that was kind of a fun little thing they did as well. I remember.
I do remember seeing that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Next one.
the album. Yeah. So we've got
Yep,
Simple
sounds
Plan,
good.
the album.
Simple
Yeah.
Plan, self-titled. Oh yeah.
For me,
Oh,
this is
I was
probably my personal favorite
reviewing
album.
Okay, yeah, right.
And so for me, this album for me is 10 out of 10. I could literally listen to this album track to track. I can listen to all those songs over and
Yeah.
over again. Like I absolutely love this album. You know, like some of my favorite songs are from that album, which are like "Take My Hand," "The End," "What If,"
Yeah.
all the and "Time to Say Goodbye," "Generation,"
Oh
"Save You." Like as I said, I probably could say I love all the tracks on there because it's just an incredible album. And
yeah.
yeah, so that's why for me, I would rate it 10 out of 10 because literally I could literally play this album on repeat over and over again, and I probably would not get sick of
For
it.
sure, yeah.
And I think it's also when I was starting to listen to Simple Plan, the songs that after Untitled the songs after that I discovered was probably When I'm Gone and Your Love Is a Lie.
Yeah.
They were the next songs that I started listening to by Simple Plan.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and that's like, oh my gosh, that song, "Your Love Is a Lie," is such a strong meaning when it comes to when it comes to falling in love with someone, but they don't feel the same, and it's like
For sure, yeah.
that's such a
Kick in the gut kind
because
of
it's
feeling.
like when you go. Hmm?
I'll just say it's kind of like that kick in the gut kind of feeling.
Yeah, definitely. It's like as I said, in my past, when my ex actually fell out of love with me, like that was such a huge kick in the guts to me, and just to feel like that you still love that person, but then knowing that when they say that they try and say that they love you, you just know that they don't mean it. And so for
Yeah,
me,
for
that song
sure.
really spoke to me. Like it talks about like you can say this, you can say that, but I see the truth
Yeah.
behind what you're saying.
Well,
And
yeah.
as the song says, your love is a lie. You know,
Basically, yeah.
and so for me so that was and then like for songs like "The End," it's pretty much saying to not
Give up.
let go of hope.
Yeah.
It, it's not the end.
Yeah.
And then you've got
Despite how dark
"Take
it
My
might
Hand," which
seem.
is yeah, exactly. And you got "Take My Hand," which is pretty much "Hold on to me. I'm gonna get you through this," and then "Save Me." You
Yeah.
know, I'll save you. Sorry. And yeah, so there's a lot of powerful tracks in that album, and I think for me that's why I would definitely rate it as my favorite album by Simple Plan because of just how many amazing songs are in that album.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, for me, I think this album's kind of like a real big stepping stone for them, where it feels like they've kind of matured from their earlier stage, and they're at this kind of point now where they're a lot more, not to say serious, because I feel like they've already been serious about their music, but I guess they've kind of just matured a bit, and as a result, there's a lot more. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, it just feels like there's a lot more emphasis, I guess, in this album, and I think it kind of seems from the track list that it's very much about, rather than kind of like with the older album, it's like, life sucks, I'm a kid, yada, yada, yada. It's about, hey, you're going through this tough time. I'm going to, take my hand, I'm going to take you out of this, this abyss
Yeah.
you're in and kind of save you from that. So it kind of feels like this is kind of like a an album that's kind of thrown out there to say, "Hey, we've come to help you out," rather than first off, we're
Mm,
going to talk about and try and relate to you. Now we're going to, help you out of this mess, kind of thing. It feels like that because it's it's all about save you, help, grab my hand, take me out of this place that I'm in,
mm.
and bring me back, kind of thing, to life. I guess.
Yeah. That's so that's so interesting. Like I didn't really think of that, but yeah, I really do like that. It's like their support album to help get people through that time, and but then it's really interesting because there's songs like I Can Wait Forever, which the lyrics is like without you here my heart stops beating. When you've gone it won't stop bleeding, and it
Yeah.
talks about missing someone so much and just going like I feel I get impacted when you're gone, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Exactly. It's
but then you
gonna
have things like when I'm gone, which is pretty much saying,
you're gonna miss me
you
after you
screwed up with
treated
me,
me
so
badly. Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna miss me because you screwed up, and and so it is a very interesting album, and that talks about like all these different topics. But yeah, I definitely think you're right in saying that a lot of their songs do talk about getting through
A
the
tough
hard
time.
times
Yeah.
in life
I mean,
and showing the light at the end of
yeah.
the tunnel.
I mean, I only really thought about that after you read out the tracks, and I was like listening to the names of them. I'm like, there's a theme going on here of like, helping a person out, And it like I was looking up online, it says, yeah, that this one's like a large musical departure from the band's previous work, as it feeds a more love base rather than teen angst, which I think
Yeah,
is obviously their first two albums. So it's definitely a interesting departure, but a very unique and special one, I think.
yeah, because that's actually interesting. Because I was thinking that like in their last two albums, they talk about like finding it hard to belong in this world and all that sort of thing, but they didn't really do a lot of songs about like falling in love and
Yeah,
going through heartbreak and all that. And this was definitely the first album where they're actually starting to sing more about it, which is
yeah,
interesting. But even though like there is those songs, they do still have, as we said, that essence of talking about struggling, getting through life. You have like, yeah, as I said, take my hand, the end, and all that sort of thing. So they still have that essence. But yeah, it definitely was like one of the first appearances of them talking about like I guess you could say love songs
yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
heartbreak songs. So yeah, that's actually really interesting. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting to hear that actually. And so, what would you rate this album out of 10? Do you think
Uh, Probably a nine. It's definitely up
9?
there.
Yeah, nice. Hmm. It is a good album. It is. I think I know which. I have a hunch of which album is your favorite one, but I'm gonna leave that
Yeah, we gotta keep
until you start.
the viewers wondering for a bit. I don't want to like
Yeah,
bring it up too early.
yeah, because yeah, the viewers already know what my favorite album is, so I think I have an idea, but I'll wait and
Yeah,
see what the next one is. But so we've got I think the next one, yeah, 2011, and it is Get Your Heart On,
yeah.
which is a really good album. You've got like yeah, You Suck at Love, Can't Keep My Hands Off You, Jet Lag with Natasha Bedingfield,
Oh yeah.
Astronaut, Loser of the Year, Anywhere Else But Here, Freaking Me Out with Alex. Now, Gaskarth of All Time Low, Summer Paradise, and that had a lot of different versions. Like one featured Kanan, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah,
And
that's
then there was
funny
another one
name.
with Sean Paul.
Oh yeah.
And then there was another one with MKTO.
Okay.
And then there was last one, I'll go on too soon, last one standing, and this song saved my life.
Okay.
And I think for me, like personally, when it comes to, I was thinking about this when it comes to Summer Paradise. I think my favorite version would have to be when they did it with MKTO.
Oh, I was gonna
Like
say because I didn't recognize that track on the list, but yeah, okay, right.
it, it's a bit upbeat in the chorus. Like how like in the chorus part, it's a bit like slow pace. It's like I remembered every sunset I remember it. You know, it's very slow paced. But in the MKTO, they actually made it a bit more upbeat. And I actually,
Okay.
for me, I don't know, whenever I think of that song, I think of that version. And personally, I think as well is because I do like MKTO as well,
Yeah.
the
Pretty
the
good.
group. And but yeah, and then obviously, you know, as you know, I'm a huge Old Time Low fan. You know, I've got quote tattooed on my arm right here of All Time Low. And yeah, so to see a song with Simple Plan and the main singer of All Time Low, which is freaking me out, I actually didn't realize that until I actually read the credits, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually didn't realize it because they actually do have very similar voices when you listen to the song.
The guy from MG.
Alex from All Time
Oh,
Low.
sorry, from All Time Low. Yeah.
When you know the song, everything you say, everything you do is freaking me out, freaking me. Yeah, like he sings the second verse where it's like, "But you're here, but you're fake. Am I gone? You know, under." Yeah, you can. They have very similar voices, but you can tell when it changes. But it's really funny because the first time around, I wasn't able to figure out where he sings, but then
Yeah.
I listened to it. I'm like, oh, yep, that's Alex right there. Because yeah, but it's really cool to see those two actually make a song together. Because like I said, I'm a huge All Time Low fan,
Yeah,
and yeah, so to see those two make a song together, that was pretty exciting.
for sure.
And then you've got Can't Keep My Hands Off You, which are the chorus line of that song I absolutely adore and love, you know.
Yeah, it's very catchy.
And then oh, it is. And then with Rivers, I always can't pronounce his name. Rivers.
Cuomo, I think it is. Well, that's how I say it anyway.
Who is from? Yeah, which he's from Weezer.
Yeah.
He's got a really good voice for that song as well. You know, my clothes are 6 months old, but I don't care. No, I don't know this. Yeah, and so, but yeah, I think for me, definitely, I did like it is a huge change from. There's a huge change between Simple Plan self-titled and Get Your Heart On.
Yeah,
you can tell
for sure.
that there's a bit of it, but I don't think it's a bad change. Like I know that some people say, is it bad or a good change? But I thought it was quite a good change.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I would definitely rate that. I think for me that one's an 8 for an album. I would rate that 8 out of 10 because it is a really good album. Like I actually sometimes listen to that if I want to listen to some really good upbeat music. You know, I like to listen to that album or just to listen to some really positive upbeat music.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me this is probably my favorite album.
I called it. I knew it was this one. I knew it was this one.
I feel like it was kind of obvious the way my ratings were going, like 8, 9, 9, 9. Oh, sorry, 8, 9, 9. It had to be 10. But yeah, I think I just really love. Mainly for me, I think it's just the energy of this album. Like for me, this is where Simple Plan became more like their tracks had a lot more kind of I don't know how you'd say it, but it just felt like there's a lot more energy in these tracks than the previous albums. And I think that's probably one of the things that I really loved. And I think what stands out to me as a Simple Plan fan is that the energy they bring to a lot of these songs. And I think for me as well, just the songs in general, but also like all the collabs that just work really well, and there's just like some really good tracks on there. Like I think my favorite track would have to be Jet Lag, just because it's got a really cool energy, and I just love the kind of it's like something different. It's like talking about that relationship where one person's on the other side of the world to their partner, that kind of I guess struggle with like the time differences and stuff. And I think it's really cool because I feel like, as far as I'm aware, no one's really done a song about that. So I guess for me, I really like that because it's very unique in that sense. And then on top of that, I guess just like, Can't Keep My Hands Off You is a really fun track, and River Cuomo does a great job on there. Summer Paradise is a great song. I have to double check the album again to see which songs I'm missing, but just in general.
But yeah, like
general, I think it's just really, really fun, cool, vibrant album. Yeah, even like Astronaut, that's a pretty good song. I think that's on there, is it? Yeah. You Suck at Love, Leaves of the Year, yeah. They're just very good, fun,
Yeah,
energetic songs. So I guess that's kind of what does it for me and kind of hits home for me as a Simple Plan fan. So yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I definitely agree with you in that sense that all the collabs that they do with featured artists, they work really well. Like, because I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but have you ever listened to a song and they've featured someone, like not
Yeah,
Simple Plan, but any other, like they've featured an artist and it just, for you, it just didn't work. Like,
yeah,
they're very good artists by themselves, but when they came together,
just
they just
didn't
didn't make
work.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like sometimes I've actually had that happen where I've listened to it and I'm like, I liked them individually, but then as artists, but then when they came together to create a song, it just, for me, just didn't work. Like, and I
yeah,
was like, I know what you're trying to do, but but I definitely agree with all the collaborations they did for that album. They were able to, you know, they weren't able to die each other out. Like that's another thing is like
yeah,
when artists with artists that apparently they kill them out, like they literally their voice overpowers them, their voices don't complement each other. That's when and that was definitely one thing with freaking me out. I definitely think like with Simple Plan and Alex, like Pierre and Alex,
yeah.
their voices complement each other, and that's what makes that song really good. Is that they were able to like make that song and complement each other, and yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree with you that yeah, the collaborations they did for that album was really good.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, it's kind of interesting that they kind of got different artists from kind of different areas of music. Like, obviously, you got like
Yeah,
Alex from All Time Low, which is kind of in the same area as them, which is like pop punk, and then you got Weezer, or whatever it is, that's more kind of, I guess, more on the pop
Rivers. Yeah.
side, and then you got like Natasha Bedingfield, which I guess is similar. You got Carnage, which is more like kind of reggae pop, and then obviously they also did a
Mm,
version with Sean Paul, which I guess is in the same area of music. So it's interesting that they've got kind of different people from like all over, and it's not just like kind of a bunch of pop. Even though it would have been cool, I guess, to have like a bunch of pop artists, feature on the
mm.
track. It's nice that they've got a bit of variety there.
Yeah, like I think definitely even when we get to the next album, they actually do the same as well, where they actually feature a lot of diverse uh, guests from different genres of music, like from punk rock,
Yeah.
from reggae and hip hop and all that sort of thing. Because they do that a bit in the next album as well. But did you want to go into that next one, or did you want to tell me?
Uh, I was just reading what it said on YouTube. It was just saying that its lyrics consist of messages from their fans and incorporate some of their voices, which I think is
Oh,
cool.
really?
And it says the bonus
That's
track
cool. Yeah.
Never Should Have Let You Go dates back to 2006 when the group were working on material for their third album, which is
Oh,
kind of cool.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Because I think like this song "Saved My Life" is pretty cool in that aspect. 'Cause I feel like it's got
Mm,
that idea of like the fans telling Simple Plan, hey, because I listened to your music, I was able to get through like a
yeah.
really tough time and come out of that dark place, kind of thing, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I think the fact that it's kind of says that and that like fans have kind of somewhat contributed to that album, I think that's really cool, especially when artists listen to their fans and try and incorporate maybe like messages or just something that the fans done and incorporate it into their music. To me, that just shows how important that band's fan base is to them, that they feel, I don't know, maybe not obliged, but they want to kind of have their fans have some kind of connection and some kind of involvement, I guess, generally speaking, in the music, which I think is cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. That song is really a really beautiful song where it's like, as you said, it's like the kind of like a fan song where it's literally what their fans have been saying to
Yeah,
about their music. The song saved my life. I was at a dark spot, but your music saved my life, and
yeah,
I really do like that symbolism there. It's a incredible song,
for
definitely.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
And shall we move on to taking one for the
Whoops,
team?
excuse me. Can do. I mean, I presume you didn't want to talk about the second coming.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because the second coming is a. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting like that one. Whoopsie, my
That's
bad.
all good. I mean, we could
But
just move on anyway. But to all the Simple Plan fans out there that are unaware of that album, definitely check it out.
yeah, what are your thoughts on it quickly?
Yeah, like I think it's pretty good. Obviously, with like 7 songs on there. Like compared to the Can't Get Your Heart On, I think in some ways it fails in comparison. But like having said that, they're still like good
Mm,
tracks. But I think generally speaking, I think like Get Your Heart On is the way to go. And this is kind of just like an extension with a few, almost like they've done like a extended edition. It just feels like they've kind of added a few extra tracks, but in comparison to Get Your Heart On, I think it's not as good, but there's definitely like some decent songs there.
yeah.
Like this one called Ordinary Life, The Rest of
Mm.
Us, Out of My System, Fire in My Heart, in Lucky One, Try. So like, there's some decent tracks in there, but yeah, like worth a
Mm.
listen. But yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna have to re-listen to that one because I can't remember that one that
yeah.
well. Actually,
To be honest, I
like I'm
didn't
gonna have to give that a
actually.
re-listen.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't actually know it existed till maybe like a year or two after I got my hands on Can't Get My Hands Get Your Heart on. Sorry, I know I said that, but yeah, I
Yeah,
just because I think it was kind of released, but I don't think they kind of made a big deal about it, so it wasn't really kind of publicized as much as obviously Get Your Heart On was. So I think it's kind of one of those albums that's gone under the radar for a lot of people because they didn't really kind of say, "Oh, we're
yeah,
releasing this additional album now." So
and they're just like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah. But before we move on to the next one, I also just wanted to bring up "Gone Too Soon" from that album, which I think, yeah, I guess kind of a cool track where talking about like I can't remember the exact contents of the song, but it's like, oh, you left too soon because of maybe whatever circumstances. Perhaps you
Mhm.
passed away, and just that kind of
Yeah,
symbolism there of just talking about like he went left too soon. He wasn't able to. Well, they weren't. I should say, maybe able to live out the rest of their lives. So I think it's kind of cool that you got a song like that in there as well as like this song "Save
because
My Life."
yeah,
Because it could almost be
I
like a
definitely agree.
comparison there in some way. Because like obviously,
Yeah, definitely,
if the
and
song wasn't able to save their life, they potentially were gone too soon. And they didn't make it to the next chapter, which is always sad. But sometimes these things happen, I guess, unfortunately.
definitely, and like I definitely think that we've all experienced times where people have passed away and they've been really young and out of either it's been sickness, if it's been through suicide, it's been through all these other things, and you just think to yourself going, wow, like they just left this earth way too soon. They
Yeah,
weren't able to experience life, a lot of life. And I unfortunately, when I was 10 years old, one of my closest friends, when he was 10 as well, passed away. And so for me, having that happen to me when I was younger and losing a friend at the age of 10
for
was
sure.
a huge shake. And and it's really sad, even to this day, he wasn't able to experience life. He wasn't able to experience
Yeah,
the things that we
yeah. Whole for granted, yeah.
And
Just
so yeah, that definitely is a really powerful song going too soon. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess for the next one, so we've got Taking One for the Team, which is their last album that they have released right now, which
up
was
to date,
2016. So we've got Opinion Overload, we've got Boom, we've got Kiss Me Like Nobody's Watching, we've got Farewell featuring Jordan Pundik. I think that's how you
Sounds
say it.
like
But
it, yeah.
for people, Jordan is actually the main singer of Newfound Glory.
Ah, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
and then you've got then you got Singing in the Rain featuring Our City. Then you've got Everything Sucks,
Yeah.
I Refuse, I Don't Want to Go to Bed featuring Nelly, Nostalgic, Perfectly Perfect, I Don't Want to Be Sad, P.S. I Hate You, Problem Child, I Dream About You featuring Juliet Sims.
Yeah.
So that's a 14-track album. So it's a really good long album. Like for me, I did really like it. Like I have to admit, like songs like I Don't Want to Go to Bed and all that are very, very different to what we're used to.
Bit of tongue in cheek going on there, I feel.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a boppy, upbeat song, and then you've got Singing in the Rain, which is very slow and boppy as well. But then it's really interesting because, yeah, then you've got songs like Opinion Overload, and then you've got Boom, which is, for me, has a bit of that classic Simple Plan.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
In it, that punk rock feel, punk rock pop feel.
Yeah.
And then you've got like songs like Problem Child and Perfectly Perfect, which is songs about struggling with feeling like you're not worth it. But I think that one for me is such a beautiful song, Perfectly Perfect, because it talks about like hoping that someone you're with doesn't see themselves as good enough, but then in your eyes
they're like, perfect.
No, but yeah, exactly. You're perfect to me.
Regardless,
I know that obviously it's hard. Regardless of what anyone else thinks, you're perfect to me. You are the one that I want to be. You're perfectly perfect.
Yeah, perfectly
and,
suited for me.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that is such a beautiful song there.
Yeah.
And it's really, and then you got Problem Child, which is just feeling like, am I always the problem in life? Am I always the problem with everything that happens? And then you've got like, oh look, I load up the track list again. Oh yeah, P.S. I Hate You, which I have to admit is quite a funny song where it's just like pretty much writing a letter to someone of just how much someone has impacted your life, and you just go like, but in a negative way, and you're just like, oh geez, I want to tell you, just don't write me back. But P.S. I hate you. It's like, I love the lyric. It goes like, don't write me back, and P.S. I hate you, or something like that. And I'm like, oh geez.
I can't imagine.
So you can tell that
many people would write P.S. I hate you in a message. So I think that's kind of cool as well. Very unique.
Yeah. It's like, instead of writing P.S. I love you, it's like P.S. I hate you.
Yeah. Dropping the bomb.
It's a complete opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like even like with the first word or the first line of that song, it goes, "Dear Sophia, I think I'm better off without you." It's kind of just,
I kind of miss you.
So yeah, like, so it's kind of like, for me,
like also,
like for me, that's like, when you're in a really toxic relationship and you feel like this is all that I deserve. For me, hearing that first word is kind of like that person, the singer realizing, wait, I actually deserve better than this. So that's why it's like, I'm better off without you, because I just don't feel like me right now.
For sure.
And so I think for me, it's like having that as the first words of that song is like his realization, going, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. What it's like, this, what is going on, And but yeah, and then you have songs like Farewell, which it's just like, farewell, I didn't mean to do this, but we both knew that it just wasn't going to last at the end of the day. It's like farewell to let you down. We both knew it wouldn't last forever. You know, it's like
Yeah,
just yeah. It has like this album definitely has a lot of like different story aspects. You know, like how we talk about the other albums have
yeah,
a variety of different. It has one specific story aspect. This one has a lot of different story aspects. Like it has like struggling with, you know, growing up and struggling with feeling like not good enough. But then there's a lot of love songs. Then it's about heartbreak, and then it's about
yeah.
realizing that the relationship's not going to last. So it's really interesting because this album has
A lot going on
just a
for
lot of variety
it.
of different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and maybe that's why you have on the album cover you have them with the champagne and they're all dressed in different like sports uniforms.
Ah,
Maybe
yeah.
that's a
So it's kind of saying we got like a bit of
maybe
everything in this album.
yeah, maybe that's like who knows? It might not
But we
have
just
anything to
got
do
this
with that. But
random concoction. We, made it better, and we thought, hey, let's, make an
yeah,
album out of it.
yeah, that's and in a weird way, like maybe that could have been like what they were kind of going for, but who knows? Like
Yeah.
it could have been completely different. But yeah,
Um,
like that's could be a different way of looking at it.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that probably rings true as well because I think in the booklet they have like them dressed up in different like attires for different like sports and things. So it's kind of they got a lot going on there, I guess, which does seem like it kind of relates to that, which is kind of cool. I think like there's one where they're all dressed in like netball attire or something, which is kind of funny. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, no, that's it's definitely a bit of variety, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, there's definitely, like you said, a lot going on, and I guess similar to the last album, you got a few different like genres involved, like you were saying before. Like because I think like better artists like Nelly, which are kind of known for their more I guess hip hop rap
Hip hop,
style,
yeah,
and I think even Our City is kind of from that
yeah.
genre as well. Because I know they do another song with Adam Levine,
Oh, locked away,
"Locked
yeah,
Away." If I got locked away, which I quite like, but yeah,
yeah.
and then so I guess for
And then you've got like
carry on.
I was gonna say then you have like Jordan from Newfound Glory, which obviously are a punk rock band,
Yeah,
and yeah, so they do have a variety of different guests,
I haven't heard
from
of
different genres.
I haven't heard of Juliet Sims before, so I don't know what
Yeah,
era is.
I wasn't sure. From I don't know, maybe like from I actually wouldn't know much about her, but like I'm guessing probably maybe a pop
Says she's
rock
American
icon.
rock singer.
Oh, okay, so she's a rock
Yeah, she's from
artist.
a band called Automatic Love Letter.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
Apparently,
Very interesting band title.
yeah, it does sound like it.
But yeah, I think definitely for rating of the album, I probably would rate that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 7.58 for
Okay,
me.
cool.
Yeah, I think that would be for me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I guess for me, yeah, like probably my favorite tracks out of that would be Boom, and then I Don't Want to Be Sad.
Yeah.
It's like no, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of just like
I don't want to be sad, sad no more.
like a fun kind of like I don't want to be in this dull place in my life. I want to be happy, and yeah. And I know
Yeah.
they do another song as well, which isn't featured in this album. I don't know if it's featured in any others, but there's one called Saturday. It's like
Oh,
S
yeah,
T T
yeah.
U
That's
Y
nice.
S T do. It's like picking up the time up,
Maybe it
waiting
was a
for the
single release.
weekend. Yeah, Saturday night. That's a cool one as well. Like that kind of like just looking forward to Saturday night, having fun. Um,
Woo!
but yeah, I guess like those two. I think because those two are singles as well. So I guess those were kind of the two first songs I heard before the album came out. But Like I definitely like the album, but I think I don't know, but like I don't know, like I guess compared to Get Your Heart On, it's probably a little lower under the radar for me, but I think it's still a good album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else to add to that really, but I did.
It's just a good album.
Yeah, it's like a generally decent like good album, yeah. But I was reading as well about this album that apparently this is the final album featuring all 5 original members, because apparently bassist
Oh.
David Desrosier, I think it is, left Simple Plan in July 2020 due to some sexual misconduct allegations.
Oh, okay.
Because I think her,
Maybe that's why they haven't
yeah,
for a
maybe,
while.
perhaps, yeah. But because I think I remember going to the concert that day and not seeing one of the guys there, and I was thinking to Kate, like, why is they missing a guy? And then we looked it up, and it was like, oh, I guess that's kind of why, because obviously, I guess that's
Hmm.
a pretty big like
Yeah,
punch in
that's
the
a
face
yeah.
for any kind of album to have one of your members accused of like any kind of issues, because that's always gonna
Yeah.
be a big blow to any band, I'm sure. But yeah, so
But that's actually really interesting because I remember when I saw Simple Plan, that bassist wasn't actually there either.
yeah,
Actually, David actually wasn't performing that night either, and maybe that was when things started, happening. But
because I'm
yeah, I
not
don't know. Like, I
sure.
don't know much.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I think he also, from memory, he also left because I think he was having some like in between some of the albums because he was having like some mental health issues as well. So I think that
Oh,
was
okay.
another.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the same guy, but I think it was. Yeah. So I think they've haven't, I guess, had the best luck with. Oh, he hasn't had the best luck, I guess I should say, being involved with the band. But
Mm,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I would definitely like to see them release something. Like for me, like when it comes to the next album, I would definitely love to see them go back to kind of like a sound like from their self-titled album, Simple Plan. I would like to see them go back to something like that. That would be
yeah,
really cool. And but yeah, I'm very like I said, there is rumors. Like I did read somewhere, there is actually rumors that they possibly are working on a new album, which is pretty cool.
that's good.
So I'm very interested to see what they're going to end up releasing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because like as I said, we've both said, they haven't released anything in now 5 years,
Yeah,
so it's been quite a while now. But I
yeah,
guess I'm guessing because of those allegations, they've probably taken a bit of a step back
yeah.
from everything.
It was saying like in one of their tours that Less and Jake filled in a spot for them for Newfound Glory.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The same band that Jordan's from, the main
yeah.
singer of.
Kind of funny that that I guess they'd have the influence from them there, but yeah. In regards to, I was just looking up as well in regards to the Untitled album, sorry, song. Apparently, they'd originally called it Untitled, and then I think one of the radio stations, from memory. Oh, here it goes. It says when it got some radio play, the subtitle "How Can This Be" was added. Yeah,
Oh. So it was added after
after they'd
after a
released.
little bit,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Which I'm
Hmm.
surprised they wouldn't just change the name completely. But I guess if they've already kind of
Yeah,
promoted the song and brought it out there, they didn't want to kind of confuse people, so they've just added that extension
yeah,
to it, kind of thing.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no, that's actually really interesting that it was always called Untitled and then
They
they
changed
just
their
added
mind.
it later on.
Yeah.
Huh. That is actually quite interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, that's really interesting to hear about that.
And it says it was also written from the perspective of someone causing an accident. The pain won't go away, and he keeps asking, "How can this happen to me?"
Oh yeah. So yeah, as I said, it's a very powerful song. That one, like, it's it's definitely a powerful song to listen to. If anyone's not listened to it,
For sure,
definitely give it a listen. But be warned, it is a very full-on song to listen to.
I mean, I feel like most of the earlier stuff is pretty full on in general.
Yeah.
You definitely need to be in the right mindset, I think, to listen to it.
Yeah, definitely a warning for just all the listeners. Definitely, if you're going to listen to Simple Plan's later music, yeah, definitely there's a lot of full-on topics they do talk about.
Later or earlier?
Oh, sorry, earlier. Sorry, in their earlier stuff. My bad, sorry. In their earlier stuff that they do talk about a lot of intense topics, yeah.
For sure, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't know if you got anything else you want to mention, but I thought we could move on to the our little game for the evening. Or little.
Absolutely, I'm up for playing the game.
Cool.
Yeah, as I said, like I requested with George when we were about to film the podcast. I really love that he did this with was it Byrne? You said
my friend Byrne. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, I really love that. So I said to him, "Can we do that? But we sing Simple Plan songs." And and George's like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Awesome." And so should we do 5 songs each to guess?
We could try. I know 5's pushing it a bit.
Or what do you think? Oh no, good. Or do you want to? How many do we do each?
I was thinking maybe 3. Yeah, just writing a few down.
Sure, absolutely. Do you want me to go first?
Oh yeah, if you want, yeah. Sounds good.
So for the listeners, I'm going to be reading from 30,000 Years of Art. So this is going to be interesting. And for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's going to be that game where you're reading text, but you're reading it to a song, and all the songs are going to be Simple Plan. And so the song that I'm going to be, the text I'm going to be reading is going to be of
Chapter 5, verse 12.
Perseus and Medusa.
Nice.
The artwork of Perseus and Medusa. Okay. I literally had a song in my mind, but now I've completely. Okay. I got it. Okay.
Cool.
And excuse my singing, everyone. Okay. As a goldsmith would have been accustomed to working with small objects such as jewelry, or perhaps serving pieces for banquet tables. Yet judging from this bronze sculpture of the Greek hero Perseus, one would believe Selene had been working on a monumental scale of his life. The statue stands 18 feet high.
Oh, man.
Sorry if that was really bad if you don't know.
I just, for some reason, I'm getting Whiskey in the Jar stuck in my head. You know that old Irish tune.
Whiskey in the Jar?
Well,
it's definitely not that one. It's definitely not that. Do you want to take a guess?
Something tells me I'm not going to get it.
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yes, please.
When I'm Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. No, I'm not going to waste another moment this time.
Yeah. Whoa.
So I'm sorry if that didn't sound like it. As I said, I'm really bad at...
For some reason, all I could think of was Whiskey in the Jar, so that's all good. Just my automatic
Oh, good. Oh,
version
good.
was like that kind of tune in the background. So cool.
Oh gosh. Oh, good. Go for it. It's your
Okay,
turn.
so I am reading from Dan Brown's Angels and Demons.
Good book. Very good
Yeah,
book.
yeah. I haven't actually read it yet, but we'll see how we go. Chapter 72.
It's gonna be weird to do it like, yeah,
It's the first book I could
in
find.
this way.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Lantern swung off the scaffold. I think it's. Woo, woo, woo. Just give me a sec.
No, good. Oh, good.
I thought I heard someone tapping
Spotted
on the door, but I don't think there was anyone there.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Oh,
where
okay.
was I? Chapter 72.
Yep,
Can
go for
find it. Was it? What am I doing? Yet? Langdon's heart was now pounding fiercely from Santi's earth tomb. With demon holes, they seem to be. Only question left to ask: did Raphael design any tomb that had one of these demon holes? The docent scratched her head accidentally. I'm sorry, I can only think of one. Only one. Landon could not have dreamed of a better response. Whereas Victoria wouldn't shout. The docent I was straight. It called the Chippy Chell. Tomb of Ass Dog. I don't know if I'm saying half of this right. But yeah.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. Figured it was a fairly easy
I
one.
was like, for a second, I thought you were doing P.S. I Hate You. But then
yeah.
when it was the nothing feels alright,
Yeah.
that's, I was like, okay.
I think I kind of started off and I think I kind of lost track and I had to like bring my memory back to be like, how does the like melody go? And I was like, oh, yep, there we go. And I got back on track again.
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. So, I'm going to be reading a portrait of Eli Boardman from the art book. All right. So, yep, that's right. I was like, I had to think for a second. Which song am I doing? I'm like, that's right. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think of how the beat goes in my head. It's okay. In a full length life starts like, oh, can I please start that again? That was it was just like tongue tied. Okay. In a full length life why can't I'm getting tongue tied. Okay, all right. All right. In a full-length life-size portrait, the canvas measures 83 inches by 51 inches. American artist Ralph gives a well-to-do dry goods merchant the kind of treatment once reserved for the nobility. Was a shopkeeper in New Milford. Earl shows the broad man as a man of business, standing at his high desk, where he did his accounts, but Boardman is also turned out like a member of the gentry.
Oh no. Like I recognized there was like a signature melody at like the very start. I was like, oh yes. And then I just lost track from there, and I was sort of picking it up every now and then, but then I'll just lose it again.
What song do you think when you think of it?
Oh, I just have to spitball and going. I've forgotten already. Not crazy.
No.
Okay. Then I have no idea. That was just the
Oh,
first one I
geez.
could think
I'm
of.
sorry for my. It's Can't Keep My Hands Off You.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, that does make
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry, I probably
Nah,
sing
that's all
terribly,
good.
so it probably doesn't help.
I'm just not very good at picking up the little subtle hints every now.
That's all good. It's all good.
Cool.
All right, go for it, man.
Okay, let's try this again. The interior Santa Monica del Popola was a murky cave in the dimming light. It looked more like a half-finished subway station than a cathedral. The main sanctuary was an obscure term of torn-up flooring, drink pellets, mind of dirt, real barrows, and even a dusty backhoe. Mammoth columns rose through the floors, supporting a vaulted floor in the air, still fitted lazily in the muted glow of the staining glass slender sewed with Victoria beneath a sprawling pistachio. Scan the gutter shine. I don't know. Gotta just set off these ones.
Ooh, you might have me here. It sounds familiar. Like I feel like I'm gonna kick myself when I hear what the answer is,
Probably.
but I can. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have no idea. You're gonna have to tell me. I have no idea. Oh my gosh, that was. Oh gosh, yep, you got me there.
I know.
I was trying to. I was
It's
like,
so hard. You're just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know it is quite hard when you actually try and do it. It's quite a challenge. Okay. All right. So for my last one, I'm going to be reading from Well of Moses.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's a statue. All right. Okay. So I need to think of how. Okay. Okay. If I get this completely wrong, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's okay.
Just give it your best
Late
shot.
in the 14th century, a sublime style of Gothic art emerged that was embraced all across Christian Europe, from England to Bohemia, from the Low Countries to Italy. It's it's as the beautiful style, the anonymous. That one was a little bit tough. Yeah. I have to admit. I was like, yeah, I'll be like, if you get this, kudos, because I found it really hard to do that.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, what should I say? Not I'd do anything. I don't know.
Same album, but no, not that song.
Okay, same album.
I'll give you another guess.
Oh, not the alien one. My alien, is it?
Yep. Yes, correct. Cool. It was really hard. I was like, but it's like, she's got 2 arms to hold me, 4 legs. I was trying to do that thing.
She's not.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool.
We'll see how we go with this last one then.
All right. Well, it's 1-1 now because we both guessed 1 each.
So this could be the deciding.
So this is the decider.
Okay. Victoria glanced at the Swiss guard standing outside Olivier's locked door. The Sentimental glared back his colourful costume, betrayed.
God must hate me just for eternity.
I feel like that was almost too obvious.
That was awesome. No, I love it. I love the way you did that. That was great. But you did that, so I was just like, because that's like one of the only songs in the chorus where they go dun 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 dun. Dun. So it's very distinctive, that song. Yeah, no, but that was.
I wanna go home.
But no, that was great, man. Good on you.
Very nice. Good
yeah,
job.
I think we're all winners here.
Yeah.
We're all winners
Congratulations, everyone. Cool. Awesome. Well, I think we've pretty much made it to the end of this, unless you've got more to add.
Nah, just like I guess I'll say to anyone that if you haven't listened to Simple Plan, and if you're a really big fan of like pop punk rock, I definitely would suggest you to go and listen.
Like Blink-182, all those kind of bands, you know where to go.
All Time Low and all that, yeah. I'll definitely say that. But look, thank you once again for having me, George.
No worry, and thank you for being part of my 10th episode, which I'm very happy to have reached this one milestone. Well, it seems like some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel very honoured. And I guess for those out there, to kind of commemorate this this podcast, I've brought out some merch. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll definitely put the link in the description. And also, if you want some merch from Jayden's podcast, you should go and get that as well, because he's got merch out as well. So definitely get on that if you're interested. And hopefully.
Thanks, man. Speaking of the truth.
Yeah, the spare truth.
Yeah, like I do.
Creative process.
And then
jump on that.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Give George a follow. Give him subscribe. Show his podcast some support. Definitely. Like I've listened to every single episode. Absolutely amazing. Great conversations. Talking about some really cool stuff. So yeah, definitely give George your support. People who have come from creative process, definitely click the subscribe as well.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate the support, and right back at you. And hopefully as well, I'm looking to maybe potentially change things up a bit. We might, not official yet, but we might have some album reviews that we do as well. And hopefully, if things go well, I can also start a slightly different venture from this podcast, which will be based around film. So I'm hoping to start that at some point as well, but we'll definitely still have Sentimental Sensation going, and we'll continue to have podcasts. So appreciate you guys' support. If you've made it to this episode far, good job. And hopefully we've got plenty more to come. So, and thank you for joining me, Jayden, as always. It's always a pleasure. You helped start this off, and you're here to mark a good milestone, so I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure.
No
Thank you for having me again.
All the best. See you guys, and thanks for listening.
You too.
Catch ya.
See ya.